Hey there, I want to welcome you to another Rise of the 1% podcast where we're going to discover the tools, the strategies, the insights to dominate and get to the top 1% of your industry. I am G Bass. And on today's episode, I definitely got a friend and a sister in the building. Definitely, I've been knowing this sister for some years now. We go back some years now. And she's actually Rise of the 1% family as well. And she's done some phenomenal things in terms of the travel industry, in terms of network marketing. She's getting into coaching. We're going to get into all of that in this episode. But I definitely want to welcome to the Rise of the 1% podcast, none other than Brandy James. Definitely. Excited to have you on, Brandy. Welcome.
I'm excited to be here, Gerald.
Absolutely. Yes. Definitely. Same here. So let's start from the beginning, Brandy. So let's start off by where you from?
I am from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
But Decatur, Georgia.
Decatur. All right.
I'm from Decatur, Georgia.
Great.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Gotcha. And let's talk a little bit about your coming up, Brandy. Let's talk a little bit about coming up, your childhood. How was that?
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay.
It was a good childhood, to say the least. I did come from a single parent home.
Okay.
So my father was not a part of my life. Just to get right to that and be transparent.
Okay.
Like I said, I did grow up in Decatur, so the Belvedere area. I went to a lot of the DeKalb County schools. From Avondale to McClendon, Idlewood. So I lived in Clarkston as well.
Okay.
In high school, I attended Redan High School.
Redan, okay.
Yes. Also Cedar Grove and Lithonia. I ended up being a Bulldog. So yeah, we kind of moved around a lot.
Yep.
Being that my mom was a single parent. I do have a younger sister. I am the oldest, so it's just two of us. Okay. And so went to school. Had a lot of responsibility because I am the oldest child. And so I think that kind of built who I am today. So, as we get into that and talk about it, just having those type of responsibilities at a young age taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. My family is from Decatur, so, very well known actually in the Decatur area.
Absolutely.
So after high school, I did not go to college, but I did not want to.
Let's stop there, Brandy. Why did you go to college?
You know what? School just was not for me, Gerald. I'm going to be honest. I wanted to go to college, but it just did not work out for me like that. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Single mom. Okay. I mean, I could have went the route with loans and things like that, but I started working early. I started working at the age of 14. Okay. And so by me already having that mindset, I'm making money. I actually was a server. There was a restaurant off Panola Road. Okay. Some people might not remember. It was called Brandon's, actually. It was a soul food restaurant. Okay. It was a black family owned. Yeah. And I would leave school. Sometimes I would leave early to go and work. And so that was my mindset. Yeah. And so when I finished, I immediately went into the workforce because I was already used to making money, and that's what I was on. It was kind of not necessarily a survival of the fittest, but I had to take care of a lot of things myself because, again, coming from a single parent household, a lot of things I had to do. So I had to make money. So college just was not on the books for me. Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So what did you do after high school in terms of working? Where did you work
at? My very first job, I served. So like I said, I did like Applebee's, Ruby Tuesdays. Gotcha. I was 19 is when I started working for a collection agency, which was Capital One. That kind of thrust me into the corporate arena. Gotcha. And from there, I like that. I like having a desk job. I like being on the phone. I like dressing up. And so I ended up just kind of dabbing into more corporate jobs. Okay. I actually started working for Gemellis, the Porsche Audi dealership off Peachtree. So I started there, and I was there for quite some time. I was there full time, and then I ended up going part time. But yeah, that's where I ended up.
Gotcha. Okay. And what age was you around when you became a mother?
Ooh, so, fast forwarding, when I was working and moved out, I met my kid's dad, which eventually I got married and became my husband. But my daughter, I was 25
25.
I was
okay.
25. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was enjoying life. I wasn't, I didn't have my kids super early.
Right.
Because from like 19 to 24, I was, Atlanta was popping in. So I was really enjoying life. And honestly, I didn't really desire to have kids right away. It's just when I met my ex-husband, I was like, you know what? I wanted to settle down and have a family. And so, yeah, I had my daughter when I was 25.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Great stuff. So when did you get introduced to network marketing?
I got introduced to network marketing in 2016.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. And the first network marketing company was a travel company for you?
It was, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. Gotcha. Talk a little bit about you getting introduced to network marketing. Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, absolutely. So after I had my daughter when I was 25, 8 years later, so in between that, I got married. Then 8 years later, I had my son.
Okay.
And so in the interim, I was working. We were doing the family thing. And I landed some great jobs in corporate America. I worked for a broker-dealer, different financial firms, insurance companies, major companies. I was the assistant to vice presidents of companies, directors over different departments. So I literally scaled myself without having a college degree on top of that. That's why I say it goes back to maybe just how I was brought up. Just kind of had that hustle mentality, like if I want it, I'm going to go get it. I didn't let not having a college degree discourage me. And so and I went in 2008. Y'all know that's when the housing market crashed. That's when the economy had the recession.
Right.
And so I was in corporate America, and I began to experience layoffs, like multiple layoffs. And I was like, something has to change. And so I didn't want people to dictate, how I paid my bills, fed my family, so I was like, I got to put something else in place just in case I lose my plan A, like I kept, having to experience. And so 2016 is when network marketing came in for me. And I was like, okay, I need this. Literally from 2008 up until that point, between myself and my ex-husband, we were experiencing just layoffs. And it wasn't because we weren't doing good. A lot of companies were folding, selling companies, overseas for cheaper wages and things. And so 2016, when network marketing fell into my lap, I was like, okay, it was literally game over. Had never heard of it, never done it. And it just made sense to me. And, the fact of I was looking for something. Yeah.
Gotcha. And was you exposed to it at like someone's home, or did you look at it online? Or
Well, my sponsor who brought me into the industry, we had known each other. Actually, we would see each other in passing at like the grocery stores. Both of us were moms, wives. We always had our kids, and we always say, you know what, girl, we got to do lunch one day. Let's just go, have dinner. And we never could, because neither one of us never had time. We was always picking up the kids from the daycare and things like that. And so we became friends. We actually met in a mommy group on Facebook, and we became friends. And I had been following her. So I kind of saw what she was doing, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And so she reached out to me. The first time she reached out to me, I guess it was nerves or mindset. I just wasn't ready. I was like, I'll let you know. I'll think about it. But the more and more I kept watching, and I started seeing she was doing things that I desired to do. She was able to eat lunch with her kids at school. I could not do that. It took me 2 hours to get to work in Atlanta and 2 hours to get home. I had no time freedom.
4-hour commute.
Yes, somebody else was raising my child. I used to have to take the kids to daycare at 5 a.m. We'd be the first car there, because I used to actually work out here. And so to get back and forth, and I'm like, let me go ahead and take a chance on this. So she actually reached out to me again, and I said, okay, it's not going to come around the second time, and it's not meant for me. And so we talked, and I didn't even really have to see much. I just knew, I felt in my gut, this is for me. And so I went with it. I said, okay. But I signed up immediately off conversation, but I did eventually get exposed to going to a meeting.
Wow. It seemed like it's kind of similar to how we got exposed to network marketing and got into it, because I actually got exposed early 2011, and I went to a hotel meeting. That a guy actually invited me to, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay. And this was in the telecom and energy before I got into travel later. And I didn't get started immediately. It actually took him to invite me to another meeting, which actually was at one of the millionaires in the company's big house. And when I saw her lifestyle alongside the business, I was like, you know what? I'm about to go on and get in this.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, seemed like we both had got to get exposed a couple of times before we actually took action. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, though, your journey since you've been in network marketing. When you first got in, I mean, did you blow it out the water or like, did it take some time or like, let's talk a little bit about that.
No, I did not blow it out the water. It's travel. So, I did want to travel. Mm-hmm. That was one thing that, sparked my interest is the fact I love to travel, but I couldn't travel. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Saving on travel, making money, it just made sense. Yeah. So I immediately kind of dived in on the product with doing travel. Okay. I didn't have an audience, like that. I had friends and family and things like that. But I was I guess the life of the party. So anybody know if I do something, it's going to be a good time. Yeah. So I started kind of teasing and putting little trips out there and things like that. And before you know it, it started to blow up. So I'll say maybe about a good 6 months in, I put together bus trips like down to St. Patrick's. That's a big thing here in Atlanta. Yeah. Going down there, I did big cruises. And then I started doing big tailgates. One of my tailgates scaled 100 people. We had the whole north side drive on lock. Yeah. And so it started taking off in that part. Once I started doing that, I realized I can bring a crowd, but from the business aspect, I felt like I didn't have the influence because I'm like, okay, because network marketing, come do business with me. Let me show you how to do this. Right. And most people was more so we're going to take trips and we're going to have fun. And so I had to tweak some things, do some self-development. And once I did that, then it started to really take off for me. Gotcha.
What's some things you did in regards to self-development, you would say?
I did a lot of, I'm a firm believer in, reading something positive. So I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, your Tony Robbins, your Eric Thomas, Lisa Nichols, all of them, Les Brown. And then my company also had a lot of things in place for us. So I made sure I was front and center at the different meetings and the different trainings and things. I challenged myself. I wasn't afraid. I got out of my comfort zone because I had never what I am now in my business is a director, and that's leading an organization, a team of people. I had never really done that per se, being the example and helping to coach and train and mentor people. And I knew in order for me to do that, I had to self-develop myself. And so reading those books and just kind of diving in, and I made discipline and sacrifice. I tell people, my schedule was crazy because I was doing it part-time, but I would put my kids to bed early. No more housewives. I turned all that off and now I'm reading my books. And I would go to bed late. And then I literally just became obsessed with it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that sacrifice is definitely key. And I always told people, even when I was in network marketing, it's a personal development type of business attached with a compensation plan.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so it's great to see that, you, like you say, cut out the housewives start picking up the books and developing. Boy, that's great stuff. And talk about that here, Brandy, for any moms that might be looking at this in regards to how you go about balancing motherhood, doing business, in other parts of your life.
Yeah, honestly, being transparent, it was a little challenging in the beginning because I had mommy guilt. I didn't like the fact I had to go to meetings. I traveled a lot and I had to leave the kids behind. But in doing research and connecting with other mothers that can relate to me, what I found is, you want to get your family's buy-in. You want to let your kids know, hey, listen, mommy is doing this because... And when I come back, this is what I'm going to do. So it's kind of like an exchange. Gotcha. And so I got their support. I included them. Yeah. And so they felt like, okay, I'm not being neglected or, mommy doesn't care. She's putting her business first. But I explained to them the importance of what I was doing and how I was building. And sometimes, my son, he would sit at my feet and listen. As a matter of fact, I tell people, my son was 2 when I first started. My daughter was around 11, I believe. And now to this day, both of them have entrepreneur mindsets. My daughter has a very successful hair business. That's great stuff. And even though she is going to college, she wants to be an attorney, but her first love was, she's like, Mommy, I want to be a business owner. And she went right in, and now she just doesn't want to be an attorney. Now she wants to have her own firm, and have other attorneys work for her.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah, my son, he just set up his gaming where he's like, you know what, Mom, I want to be a gamer. And so I'm instilling in him, maybe the engineer part, you can create a game. Yeah. And so, I got the benefits from that with them watching me and having them included in what I'm doing. Yeah. And it is tough. I let moms know it's not easy, especially me, because I have I had separation anxiety when they were little. And so, building a business and having to be away. But I knew, my why I was doing this. And so, like I said, I just made that exchange with them and let them know, hey, this is why Mommy's doing it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Powerful why. Yep. Share amongst the family. It's great stuff. I'm proud to hear what your kids are doing too. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. That I was like, wow, they literally have been watching. Yeah. And they came to me. It was not like I'm like, hey, you need to do this. My daughter, she literally taught herself. Yes, I now just share a little funny story because I don't like doing hair. I'm always look nice. But I didn't when she was little, I didn't like it. Yeah. And so she was like, actually, Mommy, because you didn't like it, it made me say, you know what? I'm gonna teach myself how to go do it. And then when she did that, she realized, man, I could do this like my mom and have a business. Yeah. And so she went, Gerald, and taught herself everything. Got her LLC. Yeah. Now she's extended out to other things. She was like, you know what? I want to do some residual. So she went and bought vending machines.
Oh, wow.
So, okay. Yeah, I was like, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely proud of her for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. A vending machine business is a great business.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. She's been doing her research, and I guess, she'd be online looking at stuff, and she was like, I could set up vending machines and stuff. So she went and bought 2 vending machines.
That's great stuff. Yeah. I love to hear that. Wow. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit as well, Brandy, in terms of your network marketing journey. You say 6 months. So where were you at 6 months in the business?
You mean like as far as
like where were you at like in terms of your rank, your position, and
I was growing. So like I said, from the 6 months when I was starting, it was more so I hadn't quite ranked up yet to where I wanted to be. I started building a team in our platform. We have this rank called Goal Builder where you have like 9 people. I think within 6 months, I might have been around that 6 months working my way to 9. Yeah. But I had a large clientele with my travel. Gotcha. And so that's where, I'll say within maybe 12 to 15 maybe months is when I really started kind of hitting the ranks. Yeah. Once I saw, okay, people are coming in, they're watching me. Actually, people started contacting me because of my attraction marketing. I was just out there posting things, and people are like, what are you doing? I want to do it. And so it literally, after the 6 months, it literally started to take off.
Yeah, I know you post a lot, Brandy, in regards to inspirational stuff. Yes. Also, though, a lot of stuff around travel and lifestyle. I see you always posting around that. So you attract a lot of people to you as well. Yeah. Where are some of the places you traveled to, you would say, or like what's some of your travel experiences?
Jamaica is definitely one of my favorite. I am a Caribbean girl. I like tropical waters. Yeah. Jamaica is definitely my favorite. Okay. Of course, Mexico. Okay. I've been to pretty much, I'd say about 20 major cities in the United States. So I've been all over, crisscrossing the globe. Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely say Jamaica is one of the hottest places
What you like about Jamaica?
The people, the culture, it's love, it's beautiful. Yeah. And they look like us. When I went, I've been to other countries and it's not so warm and inviting. And I know people have probably, Paris and all of that, but Jamaica, it did it for me. And it was just, as soon as I stepped out of the plane, the love, you could just feel it. And they treated us like queens over there. You know, they embraced our melanated skin, you know, and so that got me. It sold me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard those stories about Jamaica. What part of Jamaica you went to?
Montego Bay.
Montego Bay, okay. Great stuff.
And then I did do Negril. We ended up, traveling over to Negril.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great stuff. How about Mexico? What part of Mexico you went to?
I've been to Tulum and Cancun.
All right, Tulum. Yeah, I want to go to Tulum.
Yeah, Tulum is nice. It's a jungle, but it's nice.
It's
nice. Yeah.
Okay. Great stuff. I love it. So let's transition into this, Brandy. So you're looking to get into coaching. All right, talk a little bit about that. What you're looking to do with that?
Yeah, so in network marketing, building an organization and helping people, I discovered some talents that I have that I didn't realize I had. And that is literally pulling things out of people that they didn't know they have inside of themselves. Yeah. I just call it a gift that God gave me, just straight up. I'm like, I didn't even know. I would start conversations with people on my team, and we're talking about business. And by the time it's over, they're in tears. They're like, sis, I needed that. I needed help with that. I needed to break those, those mindsets and habits that I was doing that was hindering me. Right. And so I was like, I see strength in more so coaching now. So even with my travel product, I use it for myself. I don't book as much when I do. I have elite clients that come in, luxury clients, I like to call them. They know what they want. They got their money. We don't need payment plans, and it's okay with payment plans. But, they just ready to do. So those are my clients now. Now I spend time on developing people that wants to come into the entrepreneur space. And so I said, you know what? This is a gift, and I want to turn it into, my business, my passion is helping people. So that's starting that Brandy J Experience coaching, transformational coaching platform, mixed with a little bit of spiritual healing. I do. I am, help people with that as well. Those breakthroughs, those mindsets, trauma. We all have childhood trauma. I tell people your success is spiritual. And I know when I was working with you and doing some coaching with you and your platform, that millionaire mindset, that course, that really set some stuff off in me. I was like, okay. So I go back and revisit those things, Gerald. You just don't know. Y'all haven't worked with Gerald. Listen, it's a game changer.
Appreciate
so
that,
definitely helping people. So that's where I'm transitioning to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I love it. Okay. Great stuff. Well, I mean, my only last couple of questions for you, Brandy, would be, let me ask you this. When you think about the 1%, right, what does that mean to you, the 1%?
Elite.
Okay.
Elite.
Okay.
Different level. Just elite. It's a different world, different mindset. Coming in, transitioning and working with you and the 1%, it really helped me catapult. It took me out of the comfort zone. I remember when Antonio had to film me, and I was so nervous. And he was like, nope, come on. You guys no excuses. That's what the 1%ers do. It's no excuses. And because of that, it has helped me to be where I am today. So, elite.
There you go. Elite. Yeah, 1%.
Yes, absolutely. For sure.
Okay. Well, Brandy, if you could just tell our audience and viewers where they can find you at, and we'll get ready to wrap.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at Brandy James or Instagram, The Brandy J Experience. I am also on TikTok, Brandy James.
There you go. Love it. Appreciate you again, Brandy, for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Gerald. Absolutely. This was amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No problem. Definitely. And being you got some out of this, which is I know you did, right? Make sure you hit the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. Also, if you are new here on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. Also, drop any comments in the comment section of this video. Any of your biggest takeaways, anything you got out of what Brandy shared in this episode, drop. We'd love to hear from you. Drop your comments in the comment section. And also, as well, yes, we're on YouTube, but we're also on Apple and Spotify. So at times, if you like to listen to audio while you're traveling or driving or whatever the case may be, you can look us up, The Rise of the 1% on Apple and Spotify. And feel free to share this around with anyone else you feel could benefit. With that said, until next time, definitely have a phenomenal one on purpose.